Interview time.
Interview time, you don't get off the show.
Okay.
About this. This is sort of how you pay your fare. Well, that's a wonderful point. You nearly had the tech crew in a stupor trance over here listening.
Oh dear. Thank you.
Sorry when it ended. But anyone can tell by looking at your guitar and your boots that you have been traveling around a lot, and you sort of call this place home, but you've been on the road a lot.
Absolutely.
Where have you been going, and how have you been making a living?
I've mostly made a living playing music on the streets, which is also known as busking. So
For those of you out there.
yes,
Yes.
for the few
And
out there.
your Cliffside
hopefully.
Mainers that are watching this show don't know what that is.
Yeah, so that's been the majority of my income for just about 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few seasonal jobs here and there, which I do not like. You know, it's a good experience, but music is what I love.
You mean like farm labor, picking apples?
I haven't done that yet. I guess I've done some farm work, some greenhouse work, waitressing, that type of stuff.
Sure. And where have you gone? Where have you been?
Some of my favorite spots have been New Orleans, Louisiana, and Savannah, Georgia. Those are some of my favorite towns in the States, probably. And I guess the majority of my time has been spent in Tennessee, probably.
Okay.
I have some bandmates down there.
Places where people will take you into their homes
Yeah.
fairly readily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which counts. And how's that, has that been your experience? You go and people are very warm and you can live.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I've lived in all kinds of scenarios and circumstances, but people are, in general, very kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I've met a lot of really wonderful people on the road.
What made you go from growing up in a small town here in Washington to wanting to take your guitar and travel the United States?
I think I'm
Were
still
your-
trying to figure that out.
Were your parents musicians? I'm guessing they had a record collection, no? Because you're...
I grew up on some good records.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Your sense of timing and your folk splitting the measures and stuff is very,
Yeah.
very noticeable. You usually have to grow up with that, typically.
Well, I guess my dad raised me on Neil Young a lot, so I'm appreciative of that, but not a musical bone really in the family too much. But I don't even know how it happened. One day I was playing clarinet on the streets, and the next I was hitchhiking and playing guitar and writing my own songs, it seems like.
Huh, just like that.
Yeah, it happened pretty quickly.
Huh. And there were no strangers involved or anything? This is all your own volition?
Yeah, I guess I just kind of fell in love with it, seeing buskers out. I fell in love with the idea of being able to play music and make a living for it in a less conventional way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're sort of plotting a little bit of a comeback here, or are you going back on the road? What's your
No,
next
I
step?
think I'm going to be stationary in Seattle for about 6 months at least, and so I'm planning on booking some shows around town while
Right.
I'm here for late winter, probably, or midwinter. I don't know how
Right.
it goes. But
And you've been building up your energy in Yakima.
yeah, I've been working on fiction. I've been
Right.
writing.
Well, musicians take note. Yakima is a place you can build up your...
I don't get bothered, I guess.
You don't want to busk in Yakima.
No, I haven't even
But you
tried.
can live cheap.
Mm-hmm. Live
Guess you
very
can busk
cheap.
with a bodyguard. But,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, good. And so you've got an album out. You should tell people about where
Oh,
they can get some of your
right.
stuff.
My album, Strung Up Sorrow, it was recorded about this time last year, and I just got it all up on the internet. It's shannonjae.bandcamp.com. It's up there for sale and for listening, and pretty proud of those songs on there. It's nice to get out.
Do they sound like they've sort of been generated on the road? Are they road weary? Are they love weary?
Oh, my
Where would
voice
you say you're
is
coming from on this one?
It's a nice actual mixture of a lot of songs I wrote on the road, and then just some old favorites, and so it's got a good feel to it. My voice is a little just life weary.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely listening to it. I've only listened to it once or twice since I recorded it, and I sound pretty weary.
Yeah, and it's the real thing, not affected, but
No. I
you weren't
don't.
even trying. You don't remember. It just sounds that way now.
Yeah, I don't really record with effects. So what you heard tonight is very similar to what it sounds like on the album.
Right.
There's little flaws every now and then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, how are you finding trying to resettle back into the Seattle scene? I mean, things have changed a lot in the past few years. It's not quite the same as it was.
Yeah, I actually haven't even jumped on board yet. I'm gonna start that. I go back to Yakima on like Tuesday, and so I'm gonna start that whole booking process, which is a headache for me.
We've got lots of venues now.
I know.
Way more than we had. To the point where sometimes it's hard to scare up audiences because there's so many places.
Okay.
So no lack of. Anyway, I'm not going to give you a tutorial on booking yourself.
Hey, I could use it.
Just wonder what your impressions have been, because the scene here has changed so much for a lot of us who've played out. A lot more stages and different terms than it used to be. But I assume the folk, you're probably finding the folk scene very much still very strong here. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll go well.
Yeah. Sure it will. You seem to have the tools. All right, well, we're about ready to go back downstairs. In fact, we are ready to go back downstairs. So
Wonderful.
thank you, Shannon.
Thank
Jae,
you very much.
and,
I appreciate having me.
Yeah. Well, we will have you back.
All right. Thank you.
All right.